And here now to react to the newly released Huma Abedin documents, Chris Farrell, Judicial Watch Director of Investigations and Research. Chris, I've gone through a couple of these, kind of hard to make sense of it because so much is redacted. But I saw a couple of interesting, at least headlines, one of which was a document that was going to the Prime Minister of Israel. There probably was some secret stuff in there, no?
You don't even have to guess at it. Anything you see on those pages that has a little marginal notation next to it that says B1, or any reference to the little acronym or marker B1 means it is classified information. So it's not even open for debate. It's a fact. And the State Department has said that it's so. So in this case, we now have yet more classified information funneled through Huma Abedin from Secretary of State Clinton onto her now, I guess, estranged husband, the sex offender, Anthony Weiner. So this is a nightmare with respect to compromise of classified information. Yet another really grave national security crime that Mr. Comey apparently thinks is no big deal.
Exactly. And if it was, just to emphasize a pretty obvious point, if it was on Anthony Weiner's computer, right, considering what he was involved with that computer, Lord knows where else it is or where else it could have gone.
Guaranteed. And frankly, even with respect to Mrs. Clinton's email server, even Comey, as compromised as he is, concluded that it was very likely, and I would say virtually guaranteed, that any number of foreign intelligence services, not just the Russians and the Chinese, but frankly, any first-class intelligence service, whether it's the Germans, the Israelis, the Japanese,
or the North Koreans. I mean, we know they can do a lot of good harm on the computer.
Any of them would have wanted to know what was going on Mrs. Clinton's outlaw server.
All right. Let me switch, if I can, to what's going on with the Trump dossier, because there's a lot of questions about exactly who paid for it, who shared it with whom. It does seem like there were a group of people at the FBI and the Justice Department that were trying to sell it to all the Trump enemies that they could find, both before and after the election. Have you tried to figure out, to follow any email change regarding the dossier?
That's a major subject of one of our investigations. But what is apparent is that Senator McCain sent one of his deputies over a guy by the name of Kramer, who's being subpoenaed again by the House Intelligence Committee. It seems McCain was either a witting or unwitting accomplice to a Russian active measures campaign or influence operation, because his deputy, this fellow Kramer, came back from London after meeting with Christopher Steele, and he went around Washington, D.C., also trying to peddle the same phony dossier. And so now you have a dossier put together by an opposition, I like to call them opposition manufacturing, not research group, Fusion GPS, paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC, and then used as leverage to get FISA warrants.
And we should also mention it was staffed by at least one wife or spouse of somebody who was working at the Justice Department, Bruce Orr. So, I mean, there were just fingerprints all over. But is there any chance that, because we know Congress is getting stonewalled, but you've been putting out your FISA requests, any chance at all that you could get information that perhaps a member of Congress couldn't get about who was sending it, whether the FBI was paying for it, et cetera?
Well, our track record for years, thank goodness, is that we do get the information before Congress, because we go into a U.S. District Court and use a federal legal process to compel the government to produce these records. We've had great success. We never quit and we never forget. So we will continue to press our investigations and our litigation, and I have very high expectations for continued success along those lines.
Well, please bring it here first. Chris Farrell, we'd love to see what you come up with. You've so far had a pretty good track record. We appreciate you coming on, Chris. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.